Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, be welcome. Thanks for being here. If you're tuning in later, thanks for watching. Thought I would go live again this morning as I have not had time to create a weekly video this week. So opening it up to whoever is here and would like to ask a healing request while the channel is open. If you're new here, please be welcome. My name is Sarah, and what I'm offering here in these live streams is a question and answer. If you have a healing request, mind, body, spirit, little child healing request, please write it in the chat and I'll do my best to address it. Keep in mind that this is not a replacement for Western medicine, and that I acknowledge that all healing comes from the divine. And if nobody asks for a specific request, then I'll just do a general collective healing session for everybody this morning. So already as I open the channel and I'm tuning in, I had a lot of clearing coming from my lungs. I found myself coughing and clearing my throat. And this indicates to me that that's a good place to start for the collective holding in the lungs. And I suspect if you're somewhat aware or awake or tuned in or even alive, that you're aware of global events and that people are going through a very, 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 very hard time right now. And that we're all in need of support and kindness and gentleness. So I'm endeavoring to offer that to anybody in my sphere of influence, anybody that I come in contact with, anybody that I love and care about. I just know there's a lot of people that are hurting, a lot of people having a hard time. And even when I'm having a hard time, that it's nice to be treated with kindness and respect. So having said that, welcome, welcome. I do acknowledge that this is a public forum, so if you're shy about voicing any medical issues or such, that's understandable. But again, the more specific your request, the more detailed an answer that I can give. Please feel free to let me know you're here and where you're tuning in from. And if there's requests that come after the session is closed, I'll endeavour to address those two for a time. Obviously, if there's too many, I can't do too many forever. I want to do a shout out to Lorna. Lorna, hello, love. I got your donation, thank you. And happy to do a general clearing here. If you'd like a one-on-one session, that is a different option there, where we can go deeper into your personal experience. So for those of you who are tuning in, just let's go ahead and just ground into the present moment, and just close your eyes, open your eyes if you like. Take 3 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Calling on angels, spirits, guides, the highest good, in alignment with the highest good. Sensing first to do a general clearing of people's energy. So if you feel like you've picked up some slime or some tangles or some hooks and barbs, or if there's a heavy weight upon your shoulders, if you're confused or feeling lost or stagnant or not sure of the way forward, go ahead and just bring your focus to your energy field, the energy around you. And you're just going to clear that energy. Hi from Croatia, Divine Feminine. Thank you for embodying the Divine Feminine. Just as I'm doing this, and your thoughts, notice your thoughts, what is surfacing in your thoughts, it's wanting to be cleared, ready to be cleared. Hold those in your mind as we're clearing the energy. Just removing is the wrong word. Clearing, dissolving, disbanding, disintegrating. Any energy that has got you weighed down, the heaviness, so that you can lighten up, so that you can have clarity on the way forward. Now I'm being guided to tune into the heart. I don't know about you, but my heart has been very tender lately. Very tender. Recovering actually from a deep experience that I've been through, and bringing myself back into alignment and finding the balance of the divine masculine and the divine feminine in myself, and relearning how to give myself the love that in the past I may have poured into others. So as a mother, as a person who walks through the world as an empath and likes to give energy and offer support, sometimes forgetting that this is number one. So if you're a person like that who is constantly giving, this is a gentle reminder to give to yourself first, to fill your cup first. Because when your cup is full, when your heart is tended and nurtured and honored and full to overflowing with love for yourself, then you are more able to give to others. If you're giving from an empty cup, it can breed resentment. Yeah, so give to your hearts, my love. Good morning, Susanna. Susanna, trying to lose weight for quite some time. What is holding me back in this regard? Could I help you? Yes is the answer. Susanna, only take this information if it resonates, yeah? Don't just absorb it like it's gospel. Don't take it from me, somebody you've never met, a head and voice on a screen. I asked you first to just tune into your heart space and acknowledge what is true for you. So if this resonates, if what I speak to resonates as true, then take it on. And if you're listening to me speak and you're saying, what the heck is she talking about? Don't take it on. So trying to lose weight. The word that's coming through, Susanna, is, and I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, is that there's some kind of obsessive thinking. Maybe there's some kind of obsession with or infatuation with another being that you're wanting to fit into your vessel, to look a certain way, to present a certain way, to be a certain way, to appeal to another or to others in general. And what I would ask you to do is to first celebrate the form that you're in. And if there's extra rolls and extra curves and extra weight here and there or all over, depending on your circumstances, if you can just for this moment here and now with me, love that form, love those rolls, love those folds, love those curves, because this is where you're at. This is what you got. This is the vessel that you're in that is allowing you to live life, experience life. And if there's this constant chatter of, I wish I was other than I am, I wish I was different, if only I could lose a little weight or a lot of weight, if only I could be different than I am, then you're creating this constant conflict in your thinking. You're creating this constant battle with yourself. If you allow yourself here and now, and that might be difficult, because let's be real, mainstream popular culture, the programming is deeply ingrained in all of us. We have to look a certain way and be a certain way and behave a certain way. And if you don't fit society's norms, then you're an outcast, or you're not okay, or you're not good enough. So just acknowledge that that's the weight of what you're dealing with, the weight of what you're dealing with. And it may not even belong to you. And maybe the weight that you're carrying is not even yours. Maybe you're holding energy for your compassion and kindness to how other people are feeling, or how other people view you, or how other people judge you. So I was saying about the throat, very restricted this morning. So here now, you can give yourself a hug if you like. Or I even encourage you to place your hands on the trouble areas, as advertising would like us to target and focus and fixate on with our self-depreciating thoughts and our negative thoughts. Focus on these areas of your body and just offer it love. Offer it sweet, tender, kind, compassionate love right here, right now. This is your body. This is your beautiful body. And as you do that, as you attempt, because I suspect as a young person in the fray of youth and having to look a certain way and everybody trying to look like a supermodel, all the thoughts want to surface as you tune into these parts of your body that you would like to be other than they are, and that you clear these thoughts here and now. I'm going to strike a bell. If you're sensitive to sound, you can turn your listening device down in 3, 2, 1. Clearing these negative thoughts so that you can bring through compassion, kindness, self-love for your beautiful body. This beautiful body that allows you to live regardless of the form that you're in. And when you tune into your body in this regard, when you give yourself that self-love, when you acknowledge the self-depreciating thoughts that wish it were other than it is, somehow the heaviness that you're carrying, the weight, the energetic weight that you're carrying, the physical body follows soon after and starts to shift into its natural state. I know in my body that I feel better when I'm lean and when I'm strong. It's because I'm more agile, I'm more flexible, I'm more able to do things. And it's not always been that way due to health reasons. But there's so much judgment that can be projected at you from others and from yourself about how you should look. And so just here and now, stripping away all the mainstream popular culture conditioning that you have to look and be a certain way. Take that out of the picture. Bring yourself back to self-love for this beautiful form that you find yourself in. Take a deep breath with me. Basically loving yourself as you are. Lumps and bumps, folds, curves, wrinkles, spots. However you come. Maybe there's disability, maybe there's things that don't work, maybe there's broken parts, maybe there's injury, maybe, who knows? Everybody's got something different. Everybody's dealing with something different in their body. But at the end of the day, this is the vessel that allows you to live. And if you can dance and move, the word dance is coming through really strong. Can you dance a little every day, moving in a way with creative expression, free flowing, so that you're finding the joy, finding the pleasure, finding the expression of that movement. Yeah. And then there's the usual doctor's recommendation, diet and exercise. And maybe you've been doing that to the nth degree and still nothing is shifting. But consider that energetically, perhaps you've been carrying the weight of the mainstream popular culture conditioning. And it's time to let that go. And kitty cat outside agrees. Sparkles! She's given her salute. Try that, my love. Clear that energy. Self-love. You'll find that it naturally falls away. I also find cleansing is a beautiful thing for clearing your field, clearing the energy, clearing your insides. There's many, many different cleansers. You can ask your doctor about it. You can do your research. It's a reset. If you want to do a reset of what you're putting in your mouth. Also, just sensing here, this is perhaps not for you, Susanna, but for anybody else tuning in that is eating for comfort. If you're in a state of emotional turmoil or distress and that you're reaching for food as comfort, just clearing the mechanism in your thinking here and now that wants to fill the void with food. And I think again, Susanna, this is a general read here. There are other practices that can be used when you're in a state of distress to reach for comfort food. Breathing is beautiful. Deep breathing, meditation, going for a walk, moving the body, shifting the energy. Yeah, I hope that helps. Divine Feminine, hi. Feel pain in your knees, in the left knee. Divine Feminine, can you share with me? Knees are there's a word I'm looking for and I can't think of it at this moment. The shock absorbers. Knees are the shock absorbers. Just like on a car, you have those springs so that as you go over potholes, they reduce the bounce for the passenger. When you hit a hole, the shock absorbers take the hit. And I feel that knees are the same. So when I tune into you, I don't know if you're a skier or you've done a lot of physical activity where there's a lot of bounce that your knees have absorbed. So that's a question, that there's energy in your knees that's being held. I'm also being shown your feet. If you have access to some kind of deep tissue massage or somebody who can work on your feet and your legs, this would help your knees a lot. If you don't have access to somebody who can help you like that, okay, so no skiing. Something that you can do is to find a river rock or a curvy stone on the beach and you can press into the balls of your feet or your knuckles, or have somebody else do that. See how I'm pressing into the meat of my hand, just like that, into your feet. I would also encourage you to stand barefoot on the ground, because this pain that's stuck in your knees, it feels like it generates from the feet. And perhaps you've been walking in shoes that are made of synthetic material or don't have a lot of give, but it's like wanting to get more flexibility and range of motion in your feet. There's so many bones in your feet, just like the hands, very dexterous. but we all walk around in these shoes that keep them locked in place. So wanting to encourage that flexibility, rolling your ankles left and right, round and round, getting the metatarsals in your feet moving. And this is going to free a lot of energy up through your knees. And I also see that the knees are locked in place, like you're standing in a way that you've had to brace yourself. So considering in your life where you've been anchoring a line in the sand or putting your staff in the ground and saying, this is how it is, I'm not budging, where you're being resistant to change, where you're locked in place with your thinking about how things have to be a certain way, moving forward. You think about your legs, feet, knees, hips, they're all about your forward movement in the world. So when there's discomfort and locked energy in the knees, you're holding in place. So as I'm speaking, I'm sure there's thoughts surfacing about where you are held in place in your life, or where your thinking is holding you in place. Also, feel like there's 2 energetic restraining bolts on either side of your knees. We're just going to unloosen those. Now, that may have something surface in your mind like, oh, be aware that anytime any kind of energy imprint is revealed, I take it that it's ready to be cleared. And sometimes there is emotion held in place from that energy imprint. And the prayer is that your body is resetting itself. I'm not coming in to fix you, that your body is, and your spirit is revealing to me what is ready to be cleared. So by clearing these restraining bolts, something in your life has held you in place, held you restricted, held you in a way of thinking where you've had to walk through the world in a way that maybe no longer serves you. And the knees are saying, hello, this way of being, this way of thinking, this way of walking in the world perhaps does not suit me anymore, right? So those restraining bolts releasing are going to perhaps free your thoughts, free your mind, free your thinking, and bring you clarity about the way forward. I'm thinking that you're at a crossroads, actually, and that you've come to a place where you need to make a decision. I mean, let's be real, we're always at a crossroad. Every day we're making decisions. But this one feels like there might be some resistance or some fear or some uncertainty about making a choice, and that you've been holding it in your knees. When I tune into your left knee, it feels like it is pulsing and glowing red hot, so that there's inflammation. So to counter that energy, we're just going to bring some cobalt cooling blue into the energy. So can you direct this with me to your knee? And I see that it's deeply in the knee, under the kneecap, right in the mechanism, in the middle. And as I'm directing that energy there, I feel that there's a gentle and slow shift and twist happening. This hand is demonstrating the kneecap at the front. This hand is demonstrating the twist at the back. This is the energy that wants to unravel in your knee, front and back. I don't know if you got a rush or pulse of energy just then, but that's what I sensed. It'd be really awesome if after this focus of this energy work on your knee that you could roll on some balls in your hips and the river stones on your feet, just to, those are the two major energy points that the knee is holding for. So if you release the energy in your feet and your hips, it's going to assist what we've done here today to allow the energy to flow up that whole leg. And I see that traveling all the way into your back and up into your neck as well. So yeah, just give yourself some TLC, give yourself some attention. I have 2 lacrosse balls in a sock that I lay on my back and roll them up my back. I have all these balls. That I have a spiky ball from the physio. I have different shaped balls for different parts of the body. You want to run along your legs, run along into the piriformis in your hip, just to open up that channel, let the energy flow. Just clearing at the back of the neck, because I feel like as we're opening it really does want to pull right here. So if you notice energy here in the next few days, this is really bringing your whole left side online, actually. So as we're working real time in the energy, it's bringing your left side online. Can you take a deep breath for me? Yeah. Yeah, that feels like the whole left side is pulsing now with energy all the way to the crown. Sit with that. Again, amplify this healing energy by the physical act of rolling on the balls. Help it along. When we're clearing energy, it's very, 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 very subtle. It's the subtlest experience, subtlest aspect of self. And to follow it up with a physical action helps integrate it. So yeah, I feel it feels pulsing to me now. Like I could just feel it pulsing like this. It's and if that amplifies the pain for a period of time, because we've brought all this energy into that area, that will pass. Just grounding it out through the bottom of the foot, up through the top of the head. Keep bringing that cobalt blue in. Zara, please don't shame yourself. The very notion of the word donation means it's a choice. Yeah. And if it hasn't happened, it hasn't happened. It's always appreciated, but it's not expected. And there's no shame if you haven't. I do this of my own free will. So please don't shame yourself. Lisa, hi. Digestive issues the whole life, most intensely for the past 3 years. Some of it has resolved recently, but I still have candida and low stomach acid. How can I assist my body? Again, the little fine print clause right here is I'm not a doctor. And whatever comes through, I consider from on high. However, having said that, I would say please do seek medical advice in this regard if you haven't already. And the first instinct I have is to see a naturopath, actually, for you. Somebody who can tune in on that level to assist you with the herbs, the alternative modalities like naturopathy, acupuncture, live blood cell analysis, if a doctor hasn't been able to address it. These alternative modalities will assist you to target what your body needs. That includes getting your blood tests and seeing which indicators are off, what's out of balance, so that you can really address whether it's an amino acid, whether it's, an organ that needs support. The digestive system is an intricate and beautiful system. The fact that you've had it your whole life and that it's gotten worse in the last 3 years, first question that came to mind is, what happened 3 years ago? Is there something that you experienced 3 years ago that enhanced or amplified or compounded or exacerbated? Is that how you say that word? Exacerbated. Amplified the experience, amplified the journey of intensity that you're going through. Because what I'm sensing is that you maybe received, whether it's actual or energetic, some kind of kick in the stomach, some kind of punch to the guts, some kind of blow that you took in your solar plexus region that had you contract and tense. Whether it was a breakup or a change in location or a loss of some kind, that your body held this kind of impact in some way. Maybe it's a car accident. Maybe there's some kind of impact that you contracted in your being, and your body is holding the reverberation of that impact. Okay, so 3 years ago, and thank you, Sarah. Thank you, love. 3 years ago, your body was urging you to end a long-term relationship that was emotionally abusive. Okay, so did you end it? Is the next question. Are you still in the abusive relationship? Long-term emotionally abusive relationships. When you're in them, you can't actually see their effect on you. When you're absorbed in somebody else's energy field, when you've given your heart and soul to another human being that perhaps doesn't see you and hear you in the way you like to be seen and heard, or is controlling, or perhaps narcissistic, or there's coercive control, or there's kind of covert hostility coming at you in any way. And rather than stand up for yourself and speak up for yourself and say that's not okay, there's a shrinking or a withdrawal of self. Perhaps your sense of self has been whittled away over time. Just consider that the stomach, the solar plexus, is your power center. So part of that is you reclaiming your power Part of that is coming home to yourself. Part of that is recognizing that you are worth more, that you deserve better. And I know when you're thoroughly absorbed and invested, and you've invested a lot of time and energy into a certain person, perhaps there's an enmeshment so that you couldn't even extract yourself if you wanted to, because you're deeply embedded, this enmeshment in soft tissues, so that you can't have an objective perspective and see that it's actually doing you harm. This relationship is doing you harm. And maybe there's a fantasy that it was still this potential that you saw at the beginning. But that's turned over time. But at this point, you're so deeply enmeshed that you can't see that. I would suggest that the enmeshment needs to be separated, and that in fact is a very, very, very impactful energy experience to have, and that I'm not going to do that today. Not without your consent and your permission, in a more private, sacred space. But that's what we're dealing with. That's what you're been holding. But I would ask you to consider that, the enmeshment with this person. And when, speaking from experience, when you've been enmeshed with a person and that relationship has turned toxic and abusive, and that you can't see it because you're so invested, and you've given your power away to this person, that as you start to consider the core wound, the source wound, the trauma bond, it goes far deeper than the person. It goes far deeper, because that person's just a reflection of you. That person's a mirror of you. And they've probably got their own trauma bond. But as you consider what that enmeshment is, what that bonding is, that trauma bond, that it goes way deeper. Mm-hmm. And it's likely from your childhood. It's likely from your mum and dad. It's likely from, potentially, for me, it was in the womb. My core wound was in the womb. That's where it happened. And so I had to go all the way back there to recognize and acknowledge and see and then free that source point of wounding, so that I could reclaim my power, so that I could love myself as I am and not constantly have to look outside of myself to fill that void. And in that way, you're claiming back your power. In that way, you're claiming your true self. In that way, you're claiming your ability to digest and integrate life, because your digestion is your spiritual interface. All the little pockets and folds in the stomach, the enzymes, the acids, digesting what you partake, what you intake, absorbing the nutrients of life. And if that's out of balance, because you're giving all of your support and your energy to another, because of the enmeshment, because of the source wound, because of the trauma bond, then you're not nurturing and nourishing yourself. And you're always looking to another to fill the void. You're always looking to another to heal. So this is about loving yourself, acknowledging the source point, the core wound, the enmeshment that follows the lack of love of self. Because really, as people, we're programmed to always look for the other and find love in the other. You know, Hollywood's filled with rom-coms where we're looking for the cartoon character of the other. But really, the divine masculine, the divine feminine, the balance in the self, when you have that love of self, you don't need another person. You have all the power you need right here. When you give that love and that attention and that nourishment and that nurturing that you've been giving to another all these years to yourself, miracles happen. You'll find that you come into alignment with what you want to do with your life. It's not always about making compromises for the other. And if you find yourself in a relationship where each person is balanced, each person is doing the work, each person is aware of their shadow, acknowledges their part in the dynamic, takes accountability for their part in the dynamic, and that's a healthy relationship. But if there's projection and blame and shame, and it's your fault and you're doing it wrong, and you're just in a constant spin of who does what, who's wrong and who's right, it's toxic. It's toxic for the digestion, toxic for your integration and your interface of absorbing the nourishment of life. So that's a lot to consider. And just back to the candida, get yourself to a naturopath. Get some herbs into your body. Clear out the things in your diet that are going to breed candida, like sugar is the number one, obviously. Candida loves sugar. Be gentle with yourself because all of this information is a lot to absorb, and you are learning to absorb life, becoming aware of the source wound and how your interface has been programmed to nourish yourself. Go well with that, my love. I hope that helps. One last thing before we go there, Lisa. I'm just going to send your solar plexus and your stomach some energetic support here and now. You see the glow? It's all backwards. See the glow of this orange lamp? That's the color I'm seeing to give to your solar plexus here and now. On the front, there's a lot of activity. On the back, we're just going to open up the back chakra at the solar plexus. It's like you're drawing forward from your kidneys. It's going to give the kidneys support. So if you've been coming from a place of fear, like, what if I can't go through life alone? What if I, all the fears that are involved around why you might stay in an emotionally abusive relationship. Just acknowledging the energy at the solar plexus at the back of your body. This feels online right now at the front. Just giving this some energy here. Balancing front and back. Now it's come online there. Come online and feel the back center come online. Take some deep breaths with me and just pour that beautiful orange glow in there. Warmth, warming. I'm not sure what an acupuncture would say on your pulses and, the cold, damp, hot, dry, all that kind of read on the elements, but feeling like warmth would be really good for you. So that's, soups and stews and bone broth if you do eat meat, and just things that are warming. Ginger. Ginger is a very beautiful digestive herb. You can have ginger tea, just a slice of ginger and hot water. will assist you. Yeah. Right, love. It's a lot of information. I'm going to move on because I see there are other people and I am going to wrap up at some point. All right. Elzbieta, please forgive me if I've crucified your name. Elzbieta. Health problems, muscles hurt. Recently I've had unexpected accidents, falling down for no apparent reason. If you've been falling down for no apparent reason, if your muscles hurt, it is important to go see a doctor, yeah, if this is a concern. Because falling down for no apparent reason indicates something's not right. Muscles hurting could be inflammation. Regardless of what a medical professional would say, and I do encourage you to get yourself checked out, inflammation lights up for me. So many diseases are inflammatory based. So one thing I would start with you is the amount of hydration you have. Thank you, Lisa. You're welcome. One thing is the hydration. How much water are you drinking? And not just any water. There are many ways you can doctor or tend your water that you drink that allows it to be more readily available and absorbed into your cells. I'm not going to mention any products, but there's one that I'm using at the moment where I put it in my water and it literally feels like all of my cells are becoming soft and juicy and fat and sassy with this fluid. So drinking water, obviously you're hydrating your body, but if you're drinking water, that another way is to pray over it. Pray over your water. May this be medicine for my body. As you take the water in, you can infuse it with energy. You can infuse it with a color. You can direct it to the muscles that are being compromised. And now I will just say that I'm seeing an energy at your lower back, your lumbar, that is starting to unwind. So bring your focus to the lower back, the lumbar region. Just take a deep breath for me. And now the front wants to come online. This speaks to me of your support. If you're feeling supported in your life, regardless of what's going on in your physical body, that perhaps you're not feeling supported. So I'm going to ask you to bring your energy and your focus to your feet. And as you walk through the day, just be aware of the contact that your feet are making with the ground, whether it's barefoot or through shoes. Contact with the earth. So as you're sitting, laying, before you get out of bed, as you're walking, bring your attention to your contact with the earth. And drawing energy up from the earth through the energy centers in the bottom of your feet, drawing the support from the bedrock, from the crystals, from the dirt and soil, from the minerals, from the lava, from all of the energy in the earth, drawing that support up through your body, breathing that into your tissues and cells. That could be a daily practice for you. I'm seeing a weakness in your nervous system. So that's what I want you to get checked out. When I say weakness, I mean something that's been compromised. So drawing this energy up from the earth is going to give you that nervous system support. Just giving your entire nervous system some energy right here, right now. Like there's misfiring, something is misfiring. Keep grounding it into the earth. And please do let me know. I'd like to hear how that goes. Yeah. Lisa, you're moving from your work with the ex. I'm pleased because that's going to keep harassing, agitating, re-traumatizing. Yeah, you don't want to look at their face every day. You don't want to be in their energy. I think there's like an end of a contract when you leave that workplace, that you're going to separate physically as well as energetically. That's part of that enmeshment. So good job. I hope that your next career move is really fulfilling and that it nourishes you in a deep and beautiful way. Where you don't have to look at them. Zara, I feel possessed, harassed, much, and sexually assaulted on the psychic level, mostly bedridden with lots of pain. Yeah. I'm not speaking, but what I'm sensing and seeing is the attack that you speak of. And it feels like, Zara, that there's a rupture in your energy field that allows energy and forces to enter your dream space. I'm safe, Zara. I live in a sanctuary. I live in a healing sanctuary. I'm very protected. Thank you. I know we've worked together in this way before, Zara, and I know that you are an incredibly sensitive being. And it's no accident that my random, spontaneous, on shuffle playlist is playing Psychic Protection right now. That is something that you could listen to every day before you go to sleep. I want to ask you to consciously patch and heal and resolve that rupture in your energy field before you go to sleep at night, and call on your angels and spirit guides to place you in the celestial healing chamber so that your energy is held and safe from harm, and that you can rest, that you can deeply rest, so that your body can recover and restore. You can catch your breath. Because if you feel like you're under attack at night in your dream space, then it's relentless. There's no end. It's constant, right? It's constant harassment. So the rupture, I feel, is above your head on the left-hand side. You're just going to fill that in, and what creates this rupture, or what created this rupture, could have been an incident in your life, could have been an experience that you had, could be ongoing, where you feel under attack. But we're just sealing your psychic shield around you, yeah? Sealing the rupture so that you can get rest. I don't know if you've seen Harry Potter, but there's the final movie where they're all protecting Hogwarts and they're creating the shield. That's what I'm seeing, something like that, and that there's been a rupture in that shield. So we're just sealing that. We're sealing that right now so that your energy field feels whole. Can you draw breath for me right now? A deep breath into your heart. And no, you don't need to watch it. It's just an example of what I'm seeing. It's just trying to convey what I see and give you an idea of what that looks like. If you can imagine it, that's fine. I want to say that there's a rupture and there's thinness in your energy field is also one of the reasons why you're probably incredibly sensitive and intuitive and empathic. Zara, regardless of what anybody else says about this being woo-woo and, your state of mind, I'm not sure if you've shared this with your family members or anybody, regardless of what anybody says, is very real for you. And so that is your experience, right? Just like when a child comes to you and says there's a monster under the bed, and they're like, oh, there's no such thing as monsters, kiddo. Like, for the kid, that's real, right? And perhaps that child is actually aware of energy and they're sensing a monster under the bed because there's an energy that they don't like that's under the bed. And they're giving voice to it in a way that a child can articulate. So, yeah, okay, you're sharing online. I'm feeling like what would be good for you, Zara, is find a community of people that can support you in a way that understand energy, understand that they're not going to say you're crazy or you're making it up. For you, it's real. That is your experience. That's what you're working with, right? So find a community of people that can support you to create a safe space for yourself. Because there are many people in the same boat. There are many people who are very, very, very sensitive to energy, and they've become very sensitive to energy because of things that they've experienced in their life. I myself, all of my abilities really came online. I mean, it was incremental and in stages, but certain events, certain things, certain deep, challenging life traumatic experiences bring them online in a way like nothing else. So that's the silver lining to any time you've had an intense experience in your life, that there's all these gifts that can come from it. And people who are still locked into thinking that reality is a certain way and can't think outside the box, they will not have capacity to understand your experience. In some cases, there is such a thing as brain chemistry, and a medical professional will give you a mind-altering substance that will take those feelings away. Brain chemistry is no joke. And if that's what's needed in this instance, it may be helpful for you to cut a break. But if that is not something you want to do, and you want to work on your psychic intuitive abilities, then build that shield, heal that rupture, call on your angels, spirits, and guides, create sanctuary in your room, create peace and safe haven in your space before you go to bed. Okay. So you found a healer on YouTube. That's something, right? You're here now. That's something. I'm just sitting here with you, Zara, because I feel that. I feel the torn apart and the rupture. I feel that feeling where you feel very obliterated in that way. And so whoever's watching this, we can focus on you. You can call on the community here. You certainly have my focus right here, right now, to resolve and heal that rupture, to bring your energy field into a place of harmonic resonance, to bring your mind, body, spirit into a place of centered calm. I know your environment is, we've discussed this before, and that is something that is perpetuating these experiences. And I'm not sure if you can place yourself in a different environment where you feel safe. And I'm not sure if you are in a position to be able to shift your environment, because I do feel like that is part of the problem. Depending on your housing or who's in your space. And I will say that I believe that we're in a time of spiritual warfare, and that consciousness is the final frontier. And I myself have woken up with a dream where two men in black were standing over my bed about to inject me with a lethal injection. It's not a nice dream. But my first thought was there's been a perimeter breach upon waking. And I felt like in that moment that if they had succeeded in injecting me with that lethal injection, that I wouldn't be here today. So I understand. And a lot of people, a psychiatrist included, would probably say it's just a dream, you're out of your mind. But I tend to think otherwise. And that calling on the Legion of Light, calling on the angels, spirits guide, calling on Durga, calling on the power players, Archangel Michael, calling on the entities and beings of highest good for your protection. And knowing that by being such a sensitive and being a light worker and a healer, that you are a jewel, a precious jewel to be protected. I haven't heard of that person, but I'll look him up. I'm the child of a psychiatrist. I grew up walking the halls of a mental hospital. I've seen a lot of mental illness. I know the difference between somebody who's not in their right mind and somebody whose perception and awareness is expanded. Comes down to chemicals. Brain chemistry is for reals. You are a healer, Zara. You are a healer. You're healing your rupture in your energy field as we speak. Start with yourself. You tend your own field first. And as you have capacity, then you have that ability to share that knowledge and that wisdom with others. You can't tend another person when you're fractured and fragmented and feeling very broken or torn apart, as you said. So oxygen mask on first. All right, my love. You're going to be okay. That's the message I get here, Zara. You're going to be okay. Yeah? You're going to be okay. All right, my loves. I'm just going to clear the energy here with a bell. So again, if you're listening through headphones or any kind of sound sensitivity, 3, 2, 1. You're welcome, Zara. We're all in this together. When you win, I win. I'm going to offer some sacred tobacco. This is mapacho from Peru, from an Incan priest by the name of Giuliano, who's dear to my heart. All right, my loves. Bless you. Thank you. I hope that helps. Much love to you all. Have a beautiful day. Please do send me a message if you've received a healing today and let me know how that goes in the next few days. If anybody comes to see me for a one-on-one session, I say it takes 3 days for the energy to integrate and to settle. And in those 3 days, there may be emotional catharsis that surfaces as a result. When you drink a glass of water, it takes about an hour to pass through your body. If you eat a large steak, it will take about 8 hours to pass through your body. When you receive an energy healing, it will take about 3 days to integrate into your body. And in those 3 days, your consciousness is going to be processing whatever was under the focus and the target of that healing. The source point, the core wound. And so if there's feelings that surface, just allow yourself to feel the feels. Allow yourself to express what you need to express so that the energy can clear and shift and what was it's interesting, I don't want to say the word. What was distorted or contracted, compacted, whatever energy was held in your body that is being cleared and shifted and dispersed and released. Healing can come through. For the knees, for the rupture, for the enmeshment, for whatever you're feeling in your being, to come into balance, to come into harmony. Bless, my loves, and thank you. Thank you for being here. Much love. Thank you for your donations too, my loves. It really helps. It really makes a difference. Much love. Bless.